Greetings Berserkers, FiOth here, and in this video I will be relaying to you the most important parts of the latest patch that came out a few hours ago, talking about the paramount issues that were fixed and the ones that were not fixed. Sadly, there are a couple of sore points about this patch. Certain things I expected to get fixed in order to make the transition to New Game Plus easier and more consistent were not fixed, but they are listening to feedback. They already know that these issues exist and they will take care of them in the near future, hopefully. If you've been waiting for some of these things to get fixed in order to move into New Game Plus, sadly you'll have to wait a bit longer. Without further ado though, let's see what was fixed and discuss what wasn't. So I'm standing here right in front of the jar dude, and you can see there on the right I have 44 jarlings, all the jarlings in the game. If you had all the jarlings in the game previously, the game would glitch out and you would not be able to access his store. And now you talk to him and the shop is right here. You can go in, buy your mats, buy your jars, everything works as intended. It was fixed, which is a great thing to see. This is great to know because for people who want to min-max and create builds, it was extremely infuriating to know that you could utilize the reduced gear set requirements that you can see here in order to craft more niche builds, but without these jars being available to purchase, you were pretty much locked out of this opportunity altogether. Now it's here, and that is great. One thing that caught my attention, and it will also caught the attention of people who like to talk about how they only care about the difficulty of video games in life, is this. The part that says that certain missions at certain point felt infuriating and now actions have been taken in order to make them less so. I don't exactly know what that means. Maybe they kinda restructure the way they spawn in enemies. Maybe the density is lower, maybe they give you more leeway with traps, but as it is, it kinda looks to me like they removed some sort of difficulty factor when it comes to these instances. I finished the game, I finished it on normal, I never summoned anything, and still I found that 95.5% of what the game threw at us was pretty well calculated, and there was no real mean-spirited placements anywhere. You know, there wasn't exactly an enemy behind every corner when it came to general traversal. There were traps, there were ganks, but it wasn't as bad as in other games of this ilk. And for the time being, I wasn't able to test it. Everyone will find out for themselves how this might have become easier, but it is something to take into consideration, so I'm just letting you know. Another thing that caught my attention is this added a feature to reset Soulstone Unleash, which means that you can go back to where you invested your Soulstones, Lacrima gains or heal efficiency, and just change whatever you want. This was needed and it works positively for us twofold. First, many people wanted to level up fast and had useless heals by the end of the day, which was disastrous for their late game boss fights. And second, once you reach the cap of the level for Khazan, there's no reason for you to gain more Lacrima, and you certainly would benefit from having better heals. So this is great. It is now as it should have been. They also added some dialogue for Dafrona when you talk to her and you have done anything that is related to the Soulstones. Thought a great thing to see. They're listening to feedback. Now the only thing they have to take care of is the following point I want to address, and that is that if you are playing normal and then you swap to easy, you have pretty much ruined your save file. Even a cycle later, like in New Game Plus for example, you will not be able to go back to normal, and this is such a messy thing to do. I finished the game on normal, as I said, then I wanted to get some of the special training done, to get some of the scrolls, and I was like, should I put this to easy, just knock it out of the park, and then go into New Game Plus and enjoy the game again? And I talked to people online and they said that if you use easy even for 5 seconds, if you click that button, you are locked forever, not just for the current playthrough. This is preposterous, man. I mean, for the people who were struggling with this game, which is a pretty demanding game that comes from a vet of this genre, They might have wanted to get one playthrough under their belt on easy and then go to normal, knowing what they're doing and having gear in order to experiment and do better. Now that's impossible still after the first big patch. They say they know that it annoys people and that means that in the future they might address it, but as it stands still, nothing has been done. Boo-hoo. Back to the positives: recharge consumable display, improved consumable recharge, so the inventory will be recharged when you die or respawn, and you will get a message that you drew from your supplies at camp and you now have again as many as you can carry. Granted, you had that stockpile in your box. This is great. We were back in Bloodborne's days with Khazan earlier, where you had to do everything by hand and it was super annoying. They fixed it. Good quality of life improvement, because you might have been in a dungeon, dying to a boss again and again, losing, let's say, your stamina regen crystals, and you have to go back to base, take them out of the box, and then, you know, it was a mess. Now it's very streamlined. I have tested it. If you're carrying even one less than your full batch that you can have in the inventory, you just respawn or touch a crystal or whatever, and you will have a full stack and you're ready to go again. Granted, you are not run out of everything in your box. Now my biggest gripe with this patch, and one that is a bit detrimental to my progress because I wanna go into New Game Plus and that's gonna screw me over big time. If you haven't gotten the Master of Chaos set from the final boss, which will not spoil because some people are not there yet, you're shit out of luck. They didn't fix it. That scroll is supposed to drop from the boss. It's kind of a seed situation where if the seed of your save was one that would get the scroll, you're getting the scroll pretty much first try after beating the boss. And if you don't have a seed on your save that is capable of getting the scroll, you're not getting the scroll. I did the boss 10 times, never dropped the scroll, even though I got some epics, but the scroll is still nowhere to be seen. And that is a huge issue for me, because I wanted to use that set to craft builds. No banana. I don't understand why that was such a big issue. They know about it. They have stated so in their latest update of the upcoming patch plans. But for the time being, nothing, guys. Like, if you were hoping to get that set and you were wondering why the hell you were not getting the set, chances are you're not getting the set in this playthrough unless they patch retroactively. You know, like if we record that you defeated the boss, which is a very easy thing to do because the last boss, if you're in New Game Plus, you defeated that boss, you will be granted the item, the scroll to craft Master of Chaos. And my second to biggest gripe is that in the Corrupted Lunge, in the last level of the game, you talk to the front about which ending you want to do. If you choose one ending, you're stuck. You have to redo the whole game in order to pick another ending. And for like 90% of the people out there who went, finished the game, then went after all the lore items, and then they finished the game again or wanted to fight the last boss again, well, you cannot pick a different path for Khazan. You're stuck with the ending you initially chose and you cannot do shit about it, which is really bad. Just talk to the NPC again, change your choice, and then differentiate the final find according to that choice. It's not that difficult, man. I hope that also gets addressed in the future. So these are the patch notes for April 4th, 2025. I hope you found them useful, guys. I'm covering literally everything in Khazan: builds, guides, item acquisition, boss strategies, everything. So subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!